Hello, boy! He got me. We're back. That was good. We're back. We're gonna have to deal with Wes's half attention tonight. He's fully in his number one sport zone right now.
Needs
We
that
got
Bisbee
live
eye.
NASCAR.
Needs that Bisbee eye, so he's one shooting fucking one way, one shooting the other.
We got live NASCAR.
Hold on, let me pull it out. Let me pull it out and just hold it up there.
From the south of the South, South Carolina. That is Southern loving.
Southern loving.
He's got to keep him focused. The Canadians are here, though. I think Lance is too focused on racing, too. He couldn't eat no shows because his
brain hurts.
His brain hurts.
Anybody south of the Mason-Dixon is just like full-on race mode right now. We don't even know what's going on.
I heard they were up 38% versus the last NASCAR race, so there you go. It happens.
Yep.
It happens. But, yeah, we're here.
138 people. Love it.
Canadians, what are you up to? What's happening up there? Are you guys? I heard you can't come across our border for another 3 weeks.
No, you can't come across ours. Let's get
it works both ways.
No, I'm sure that they like their side a little.
We got
bit
our
better.
Mounties. Our Mounties are on horses, fucking lining up across the country.
That's why Nushaw comes on vacation here every year. You know, he likes it so much. We understand.
It's a great
you
place
wouldn't
to
catch
visit.
me dead there anytime soon.
Great place to visit.
Yeah, great place to visit. Not a chance in hell.
Hey, your boys going up to right by y'all tomorrow, I believe. You can mosey on down, catch the rally. You know,
where's he going?
Michigan tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, Brad can get there. Not too far.
Is he gonna try and spread some floods?
Yeah, is he gonna get fucking swept away by the floods or what?
Man,
well, I mean,
honestly,
he tells them all.
I know we don't get political on this just because we like to fuck around, but there's 6 deaths from a flood, and he's like, "Stay safe. Listen to your local officials." 90 plus fucking thousand deaths, and he's like, "Nah, it's fake, bro."
Wes, listeners are asking about your drinks. They're really calling you out.
Well, then he said today he's cutting all funding up there because they're trying to do election fraud to let people vote by mail. So he's cutting all funding.
Yeah, I saw that.
None of y'all get no money.
Oh, man. He sent out a different one this afternoon. He was like, first they sent out ballots, but no, he had to delete that one because it was like blatantly wrong. And then he just said they sent out applications.
Maybe you'll get a ballot, Brad. You never know.
Probably. Democrats want me to vote down there for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything?
Seems likely. But yeah, outside of Nagano and Jones, and I don't know what's going on with that May 30th card. Is that even happening? Does anyone know? How do they have a 4-fight card?
Supposedly it's going to be a contender series card, just a 4-fight.
Yeah, that's the rumor.
I don't hate that.
Is Dana?
I don't hate it. It's just like why not announce that?
Yeah, in this case, it's going to be 4 terrible fights. But if they booked 4 good fights a week, can you I would absolutely watch this shit all the time. I'd be back all the time. Listeners, you better pray for 4 fights a week.
Yeah, I don't know what the holdup is. Like all these fights for the 6th and the 13th of June and farther down the road are getting announced, but nobody's talking about this card that's happening in a week and a half. They're just.
Do you think it's possible
it's got to be like a 4 or 5 fight card?
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible Vegas is somehow creating drama, or the NSAC about doing the card, and that's what the holdup is?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think
so
because they're pretty much.
They
want
the
fighters more than a week and a half.
Right
Notice would be nice.
I think it's more that a little bit of Dana is full of shit when he says all of these fighters are just clamoring to get on these cards. No, I don't.
Rose is the only one that doesn't want to.
I think a lot of these fighters don't want to fuck with this shit right now, and I think he's having problems getting fucking cards together, multiple cards in like a couple weeks.
Especially such short term.
Yeah.
Like, they'll be like, okay, well, I got to fight through this bullshit. How about give me some more money if you're giving me 2 weeks
Not
notice
getting no money.
and fight during
That's
Corona.
a good one.
Good
They're
point.
getting no notice. They don't really know where the venue's going to be, where they're going to fight. I mean, a lot of these. Would you want to do that if you're one of the upper echelon fighters at any of the divisions? Like, yeah, fuck it. I'm set like Cowboy. I'll just take a fight on 2 weeks notice at any place in the country. Hopefully they don't have another fucking Jacare running around fucking trying to infect everybody, and I'll be good, I'll be good for my 20-20. It seems worth it,
To be fair
Honestly,
to Jacare, though, at least he actually can't, like, he did the proper precautions that he knew that he potentially was at risk. I mean, he wore gloves. He did wear a mask.
Apparently, he informed them when he arrived in Jacksonville. He told them it's on them. Like,
Sean, that's true. I mean, that's not on him at that point.
No, but I mean, they should be asking this before they get fighters to come in, which I think they're doing now.
The Brazilian Travel Authority, the TSA, how did all these people let him through these places?
Oh no, he's living in Florida. He drove up from Florida.
Yeah. He's already in the United States.
Yeah, so he was already there. But I mean, you can say, he was wearing a mask and all that shit, but there's a picture of him 3 inches away from Verdum's face on Instagram and shit like that.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's weird. There's not a little more transparency. I mean, I guess it is the UFC, but just how did none of the big reporters be like, yeah, we're just gonna have a 4-fight card? Like, they're just not talking about it. Like, what the fuck are we doing? It's a week and a half away.
But honestly, like I said, I'm fine with
tomorrow,
it. 2 hours.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's just I don't know how. I mean, if ESPN's cool with it, and is it worth it to? That's why they really, really want to have it at the Apex Center, because I don't think they want to go to Arizona for only a 4-fight card. That's
why would you want to use a full arena? Why would you want to use a full arena for? Why even have an arena
when you've got something?
You can just have it on your page anywhere.
You really shouldn't have an arena, even if you're running full cards right now. You shouldn't like that. The Apex is actually perfect for what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they just gotta wait for
That's
Nevada
right.
to open shit up.
That's exactly right. But I don't know what Nevada's
They
doing. I know what they're doing.
Well, they're saying that they're going to be open by the 30th. Like, they're going to start opening shit up to where they could hold it legally.
That's what Dana says.
Even up here in Ontario, we started opening up limited.
That's what Nevada's saying. They're going to start opening up on the 30th. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see about Nevada, but I'm sure UFC has that tie-in with how many events they have to get that UFC money kicker, that 9-figure kicker, or whatever that's been rumored about today.
Oh yeah,
I don't think that's a struggle for them at all, because they can put on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They can just put on 3-4 fights a night at the Apex Center and do that as 2 hours of nightly TV.
If that counts.
Well, it's going to be on ESPN Plus, so they're going to count it. It's not about fight cards. It's about time slots that they have to fill.
Yeah, I imagine that's what it is.
As long as they can fill a bunch of 2-hour primetime time slots, then they're good.
Yeah, and I was reading some stuff a couple of weeks ago when all this started. They was talking about the ESPN deal, and they get paid sets amount of money. And I believe it was that guy, that Markham guy, the dude that writes on the business and shit guy. But
as soon as you said Markham, I was like, fucking Rory Markham?
No, I can't. That's not exactly how you pronounce his name. But we got a guest. All the lawsuit shit and stuff.
Yellow Birdie.
No, that's Green.
This is Green Birdie, buddy.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been investing in the wrong business.
Yeah. You like the logo?
Yeah, I do. For those of you who don't know, this is the man, the myth.
Everybody
the legend,
knows.
The gamble master, the tout master, everything.
The brains behind the operation.
Yeah, the brains behind
Jerry Jerry's the man.
That's the spreadsheet messiah right there.
I feel like I got to log off right now. It's not going to get any better than that.
Probably not. You're screwed from now on.
They're just
But
gonna
he's-
mistake you for Lance anyway with that head. And beard
There we
and
go.
all that nonsense.
Yeah,
One-
but look at those
Wait. Are
measly
you sure?
forearms.
I
Nothing.
You're
think
more
that-
bicep
nothing.
though.
One bald
You're
guy
more,
for
you're
another
more
bald guy.
bicep. You're more bicep.
I'm
That's
pretty
true.
sure that's Brian Kelleher. Actually,
Yeah,
I
there
think
we
that's
go.
Brian
That's Brian
Kelleher.
Kelleher right there.
Hey,
No,
that guy
guest
that's
appearance.
got some
that-
votes, okay?
that's Ben Saunders right there.
John Malkovich.
Yep, that is the correct one right there.
Yeah.
We're just talking about the wildness that is the UFC running events during 2020, Jerry, right now. So
It's pretty wild.
honestly, if it was me, I would have like 3 hubs. You get a place in Florida where there's a bunch of guys training. You get a place in Vegas where it's like a pretty easy place for people to get to, and a place in California where you've got a lot of people training. You limit
Yep.
travel as much as possible. You have these local small fight cards, and you can probably get a lot of shit done.
I don't think you need it. I don't think you need
This sounds
California
like
and
something-
Nevada. They're
This
kind of
sounds like
like logic.
something. It sounds like
Right.
something maybe somebody like Joe Silva would have came up with or something. You know,
Wait a
the
second.
actual brains. Maybe a Lorenzo would have came up with something like this. You know, the actual brains.
I think it's much
behind
better to just wing it.
Yeah, fuck it.
it. Yeah, fuck it.
Wes, if you want to call me up, I don't mind getting paid in American dollars right now.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
telling
a
you.
good. That's a nice exchange
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
One thing
Like,
I do want to say
y'all keep the deaths. Give us the exchange rate. You know.
Yeah.
Y'all get the death and the money.
can we stop? Can the conversation about UFC is more popular than NASCAR end? Can that end now? The
No,
Who said
UFC
that?
did like 1 million
No.
people, and the NASCAR did like 6 million for this.
No others. No. I mean,
Is any
NASCAR has
sport-
been.
Is the UFC
Viewer-
more popular
viewer-
than any sport at all?
maybe
viewer-
Brad
viewership-wise-
Sport. Maybe.
Viewership wise, NASCAR has been the number 3 or the number 4 sport in the country forever. It's not hockey. Like NASCAR does more viewers than hockey in the United States.
On
It has for
average.
decades.
What's
On average.
hockey?
It as far as like per
Uh,
race, hockey
yeah.
puts out more games, but
when
MMA
it's a
is
weekly thing, it's a bit.
MMA is barely watched. Like they didn't even do numbers on that ESPN card last week. They didn't even top their highest ESPN card. It's second, and that's
That's
when
why
everybody's
that
at home.
700K
Wait, who
buy
said
is
that
kind of
UFC was
bullshit.
more
That's why
popular
it's
than
bullshit.
NASCAR? Where did
That's
that
why
come
it's bull. It's
I-
that 700K buy was bullshit.
It
That
didn't
was
even beat the
out-
last pay-per-view's fucking viewership. The
And Lance
prelims.
can keep saying, "Well, oh, Disney can't lie about that. It ain't Disney.
It didn't come from a shareholders
It
meeting,
didn't
so it
come
don't
from a
count.
shareholder meeting, and it's not publicly available numbers now. All they have to do
Well,
is report
700K doesn't matter anyway. You're talking about the only sport on. Like, I don't think that counts. Does it? Does that actually count?
But when it's
No,
the
we're
only
just
sport on, and
talking-
The thing is,
Popularity?
they didn't.
shit numbers.
Yeah,
we're
they
just
still
talking
did shit
about-
numbers, and it was the only thing on. That's
Yeah.
what's the point.
And like the ESPN card last week that was free on main ESPN, nothing else on at all. It didn't even beat the number 1 ESPN card. It was second all time. It's like everybody's home. There's nothing on. It's free. It's on fucking regular
And
ESPN.
people are still like, ah, fuck
Please
it.
watch.
And- I mean, it did 1 million viewers, but the best paper or the best ESPN card so far has done 1.4. You know what I'm saying? Like it's way off. Even the best.
Those are terrible numbers too.
Yeah,
Like
for-
compared to what like the
Fox
Fox
cards
cards
were
and the
doing
Spike
4
cards
million.
even.
Yeah, they were
Spike
doing
cards
4
were doing way more than this shit.
And you're just comparing it to other
That's a
UFC
different time,
events,
though.
let alone other
How
sports.
is it a different time though? Like
This is-
apparently
Brad,
the
this
sport
is-
is
this is-
bigger, the sport's bigger, and there's bigger stars and all sorts of shit, but nobody gives a
The
fuck.
reality is there's more media options and everything's just splintered. That's true.
And people
I mean, it
stream
doesn't,
too.
doesn't
That
mean
is-
that the sports
That is true, but
sport's
do
not as popular
sports
as it was
get
back then
like
either.
that drastically fewer viewers on a network that's that much more accessible too?
Yeah, like how like is NASCAR fucking slowly going down with viewership,
Yeah.
or is it pretty
Oh,
steady?
well,
Yeah.
NASCAR had,
Running
but-
right.
but
So
they,
is pro wrestling. So are
they've
most,
been go-
most others. Basketball. I mean, most sports. Hockey.
everything's dropping, and NASCAR has been dropping for years now. But as far as this shit goes, they literally were doing numbers for the video game NASCAR double and triple what
Yeah,
UFC
it's
cards.
fucking
do.
bad.
Now that's,
man.
that's
The
the
race-
worst. That should stop
the-
the conversation. Just that.
The race last week did 6.5 million viewers. You know what I'm saying? Like
a lot
that
of
just
people.
dwarfs anything UFC could ever do.
It's more than what they did for the Cain Velasquez Junior Dos Santos first ever Fox card, which I
And
think
that's
was
just
around
watching
4.5
people
or 5
play
million.
NASCAR video games.
And
Yes,
that-
I thought that was like
NASCAR.
7.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was.
Anyway,
yeah. I think
yeah,
that
I
should end the
mean, like,
conversation. That's settled.
none of them are as popular as what our friend Bo is betting with the equestrian bets, the esports
Come
equestrian.
on, sir. We've been
He's
making
just,
money.
Hey, what
Making
people
that
don't-
coin.
people don't realize, man, that like there's certain ones of them like the CS:GO and those things
stupid.
are massive, dude. They have tens of millions of viewers. That shit is massive, like worldwide.
I mean, they sell out stadiums. Like normally, when there's no
Yeah.
Corona, they sell out stadiums
They
for
have-
these big tournaments and shit like
They
that.
also
like,
have tournaments where they're paying teenage kids millions of dollars, and fighters still make 20 and 20 and shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. CS:GO players make millions of dollars.
Some
And you
fighters
try
make
to
like
act
10.
like this is a real sport.
and they have legit
Oh.
sponsors too.
Yeah,
like-
legit sponsors.
Not,
Yeah,
not a good thing for the world. I will say
Oh, come
that.
on now.
it's a good thing. It's
Because
another
UFC
form.
is good for the world.
It's entertainment. Yeah,
Some
I mean, it's
fighters are
another.
making like 8 and 10,000. I mean,
No,
that's
10
like 4
grand.
months on the Canadian stimulus package.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
I mean, just watching that's another form of entertainment. You go and watch movies,
That's
or you
not
do
what I
this and you
mean.
do
No,
that.
I'm talking about just kids sitting at their home playing video games all day isn't good for the world.
But that's not what kids do all day. Like, and
A lot of kids. I mean,
these-
a lot of
these-
time.
what I did all day. And
Yeah.
that
these
was
people
a long
though,
time ago.
they're some of the best like
That's
video
wrong.
game players in the world. And you're talking the hand-eye coordination could be attributed to a lot of things.
You just said best video game players in the world.
Well, I mean, you got if
Come
you
on,
watch,
man. It's not a real thing. They're just like
they make more money than fucking fighters and shit. No, it's not that. No, not keyboard and mouse players. No,
That's
it's
because
the
it
hand-
attracts a different audience, Wes. It
The-
attracts
the
younger
hand-eye
people, and
coordination-
it's hard to find advertising that you can. That's
kids enjoy it. Kids enjoy watching it. That's who you're trying to get, and it ain't just like
I know that's why you need
15-year-old.
that's why you need to stop it because kids enjoy it. And that is not shit that should be enjoyed. Make
I
them
mean, we all
They can
play
buy
video,
it.
we all play video games. There's no denying. I played video games nice 4 or 5 hours a day, but also spent like 3 hours running around outside like a
and
maniac.
look how you
Kids
turned
these
out.
days,
Jay.
I don't know.
Look how you
I'm 40. I'm 40
I'm
years
going to
old
start
and
a
still
spin-off
trying to
of
get
this
as much Call
podcast
of
called
Duty in
the
as I can.
Esport
I
Analysis.
fucking love video games. There's few other things I enjoy to take my mind off shit than playing video games, and it's also more than just that. Like, I play with the same guys I've played with for 15, 20 years, and it's a way we can get online and bullshit and play a game for a couple hours.
So it's like
Our
the same thing
wives
we're
don't-
doing right now.
Exactly,
Pretty
but we actually have something going on. You know what I'm saying? Our wives ain't fucking with us. We can bullshit, play some fucking video games. Too.
So Dontail Mays made 10 grand
Oh, God.
on Saturday, and
That's
that was
good.
not even,
That
that's
was-
not even his
Fighter-
first fucking
fighter.
UFC
That was
fight.
one hell of a segue, Sean. That was an incredible segue. I'm not gonna
First
lie.
fighter
That
never
was
come out of Louisville.
incredible. I love it.
He made 10 grand, and it was his second UFC fight, and like third if you count.
Well, he
fucking
fought like
Contender Series.
he fought like he should have been paid 10 grand.
10 grand.
He fought like he
That's
should have been paid
fucking
too.
horrific, man. I mean, the guy making his UFC debut made more than him.
Mm.
The guy who fought Chikadze made 14 grand.
He fought better than
Alright.
him.
So can we all agree that MMA is not a real sport?
No.
Can
thought
we
you
all
were gonna
agree
say
that the
top sport.
UFC
Good
is
enough.
not a real sporting league?
It's
Yeah,
not a
I think we
league.
can agree
It's not a
that.
league.
Yes.
I think MMA itself is clearly a sport, but yes, the UFC is not a real sporting league.
It's
There's a difference
entertaining.
between a promotion and a league. It's not a league. There's no league aspect to it. There's no win loss record. There's no
I
standing.
can't imagine being a professional at something where you have to be like elite to be a professional at it, where you don't even get paid a living wage. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, I can't imagine it either.
by
except
the
it
parameters,
exists.
it's considered a sport. by the way that we see with our eyes every single day with this shit.
They're
it's
trying
a
to prop
fucking-
it up like that way.
It's a circus, man. It's a fucking circus.
Yep.
You know,
Look,
dudes
we'll-
spitting their
I know,
teeth out. And,
I'm terrible because, like, I'm still gonna watch it and enjoy it and make money off it if I can. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But yeah,
Well, see, unlike some
I'm
people,
not a
I
better
don't
person
want it
than
to
it.
be. I don't need it to be a real sport. Like I like
Yeah.
it better as not a real sport.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
It's more entertaining.
yes.
I know, but then
Yep.
there's people that do that are trying to like prop
Well,
it up to be this
they just
amazing
want-
thing, and
They just want to grab the money off of it.
Well, I think
they
I think the fighters should get paid more.
they,
But
they don't want
Yeah,
to share that.
not- that doesn't-
Absolutely.
yeah, that has nothing to do with it being real or not.
You know
No,
when
it has
MMA,
nothing to
you
do
know,
with it.
you know when MMA will,
If anything,
will
it
be
makes it more real if the fighters get paid more.
the only way MMA to me will ever be considered an actual real grown up sport is when the fighters have a union and they can bargain for their rights like any other major sport in the world.
yeah, they're a part of the conversation of shit that's going on in their league. You know,
They
they have
are
to
the
decide
sport.
what they're wearing and
Yeah, but there's promotions.
agree
There's
on it.
other promotions. It's a different competitive landscape.
There's
Other
an-
sports. Makes it a little more difficult. I
There
think.
is-
The weird thing, like
Yeah,
what
for
about
a
you
leg-
just mentioned, John. Go ahead.
for
Wes.
like a prototypical union, but there's the Ali Act in boxing as well that gives these guys medical care and fucking guaranteed fucking money when they retire and shit. Fighters have none of that. They're literally like still bagging groceries and shit. Like there's MMA fighters fucking working as electricians.
Baristas.
And shit. For it, like that's
comment?
ridiculous.
strip club fucking bouncers and shit.
Nothing wrong with that. You got what you got to do.
But the weird part about what Sean said about if it was a reference to the Reebok deal is that other pro leagues have endorsement deals with specific companies, and you have to wear specific companies' stuff
That's
when
right.
you're on the floor
They get a
or.
big chunk of it. They get a big
Exactly.
chunk of it.
But like MMA it could be there. It's not impossible for it to be there, and there's some smart enough fighters to organize and do it. It's just you can't deny that it's not. It's
could
just
be-
not.
It could
It's
even
not
be
just
so
the
much
fighter union
better.
though either. Like you got Dana, you still got the people in charge from the early days when it was
Yep.
like just a
Well, I mean,
shit show.
The
You know,
Cowboys.
freak- yeah, exactly.
It
Like
could be so much better right now without a union if Dana wasn't a slimy fuck that wanted to grab
Yeah, but he's
all the
squeezing
money,
every fucking
fucking penny that
ounce
he
of
can.
blood out of that
Yeah.
fucking stone.
Yep. Like
yeah,
and
if it
he's
was run more
he's got
corporate
money.
instead of mafia style, like it
Yeah.
used to
They
be.
have the money. They have like a very nice deal with the ESPN now. Like they're making money hand over fist for the UFC actually is. They're just in business and owned by a company that is so leveraged on all of its other shit. They need Dana to be that guy right now. You know, they need him squeezing every buck.
Look,
Out
there's
of
real
every-
pros and cons with Dana. There's a couple big pros and there's a lot of cons.
I
the
don't see the pros much anymore.
The
I
pros
really
is
don't.
that he gets media attention. That's a real pro for a sport that
Yeah,
struggles
just
for
because he's a
notoriety.
famous face, right?
You're already
Do
on
you think he gets
ESPN.
more media attention than them just
Dang.
being on ESPN?
And he's not the best. He's not the best
Really?
guy to be the face of the
People
media.
know who Dana White is, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
Dana White was I don't have ESPN as a Canadian, but if he was promoted on whatever Stephen A. Smith does or whatever like Skip Bayless does or all those guys, if the UFC was promoted on that on their own without him, would it really make a difference? Like people
Yeah.
are hearing about it, more
Just a
people are
different
hearing
guy,
about
even
it.
just a different guy.
You could move it on to somebody else. He could
Yeah.
have been moving it on
Yeah.
to somebody else a long
He was
time ago.
probably integral in the early days
Oh,
and even
for
in the
Oh,
middle
absolutely,
days. But
absolutely. But
not
everybody
anymore.
also knew that the brains and the money was literally always Lorenzo and then Joe Silva. They were
Yeah.
always the brains of the operation. Dana was the
And
loud
Frank
mouth.
was just in the back, just counting money.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Eh,
I'm telling you, I will bet a large amount of money right now that the Fertittas end up owning the UFC. It,
Oh,
it
yeah.
will,
Fine by me.
it will absolutely happen in the
That would
future.
be
I
They were the
guarantee it.
best owners of the UFC, so who wouldn't want that? back?
They are going to sell that. They're going to buy it for $2 million, sell it for $4 billion. They're going to swoop back in and probably buy it for like 800,000-900,000 this time, or 800-900 million this time, Denver's so leveraged, they're going to be so fucked. They're going to have to sell it for pennies on the dollar again. Then a couple decades down, Lorenzo Bena's be like, fuck it, sell
The
it.
only reason these guys required the UFC in the first place was for the TV rights, so they could probably just power play it with other sporting properties and athletes and actors that they have under their portfolio. Like they just like to acquire different assets and leverage it for everything that they do. I mean, WME Endeavor that's what their business is. You ever read like different articles? They're like, oh, we help. Like they're not even associated with these random leagues or properties. And they're like, yeah, Endeavor negotiated this on our behalf. Like, okay, I mean, it's like that's what these guys do. Like that's clearly what their motivation was. Why they paid $4 billion for that, I'll never understand.
Well, because
that fucked over the fighters so hard.
It was a good investment when it first happened.
$4 billion?
It was not. That shit was over fucking priced.
No, it was overpriced, but it's their moneymaker now. Like, because all their other business properties are so fucked with the virus going on. The UFC is the only thing making them money right now.
Still a bad business.
And when that deal happened, it was at the absolute peak of like the live sports endorsement
starting
bubble.
to dip even a little bit too.
That's true. Brad's right about that.
But anyways, speaking of ESPN so much, we should talk about the UFC on ESPN. Boom. Nailed it.
It was
Jeremy, you look like Jeff Nowitzki's
brother.
Yeah.
What is he doing these days?
Or Matt Lindland. That was another shout out from
That's offensive, really.
Yeah. I think I might get off at that one.
Speaking of Dante Mays, first fight on the card, $10,000 suppostely he received. How long did he last? 2 minutes?
I needed
second round. 2 minutes.
The second round. Okay, it lasted 8 minutes. It's not $1,000 a minute. Pretty good.
27 more seconds of that motherfucker too.
Wes, if I'm not on Fatty's Gonna Fatty, nobody should be on Fatty's Gonna Fatty.
Well,
I know. We can't.
Over
if Brad's not there, it's not a part.
Wes.
You can't force a Fatty, Wes.
Wes, where you get $1,000 a minute? That's a lot of money.
$1,000 a minute.
That's how much Dontel Mays got to last in this cage. But a little over $1,000 a minute.
That's not bad.
Good. That's not bad.
Better than I
get it. But he's not very good at fighting, and it was completely exposed in this fight.
Yeah, that sub prop, whoever took that was pretty on point. I threw a Hail Mary on the old KO just to try to get lucky, maybe just get some ground and pound, but that sub was just asking to happen.
I didn't even watch the fight.
I actually watched this one. There's a couple I skipped in the middle, but I saw this one, and the sub prop here set me up quite nicely for the remainder of my night in terms of betting. So we'll get there.
I was busy faking my cousin's death to ruin Donald Trump's re-election chances. So I missed the first few fights. So sorry. I'll set this one out.
Fair. That is fair, Jeremy.
That's why we love Jerry.
Go on.
We don't play Dontel Mays in Louisville anymore. He moved to Albuquerque, got worse.
He's at Jackson's?
Yeah, he got worse.
No, he's at Winklejohn's, Jay. He's at Winks.
Oh, they're different now.
Winks, the guy that likes to post fake Hitler pics.
Fake Hitler pics.
These guys,
man, Jackson fell off a cliff. That shit
these
is not
old
very good
MMA
anymore.
coaches.
It happens in MMA, man. Look what happened to Novia now. Completely non-existent anymore. They basically disbanded.
I know, but fighters still go there. Like I feel like fighters don't go to Novia now. Fighters still go to fucking Jackson's. I think there's.
I think
really
the thing is, in Albuquerque, you can kind of isolate from like a lot of other influences unless you're John. I mean, like theoretically, like you can get away from a lot of shit and focus.
Yeah, but I think that gym just got too big for itself, and they rebuilt. They got so big. They got big fighters there that ended up taking all of the air, all of the coaching at certain times.
It just didn't suit what Greg Jackson was able to do.
Right,
and it was
he's
like
not the type of coach that can do that.
When you got the guy, it's hard. You got the guy.
looking like AKA though. AKA is like stayed small like throughout it all. They don't have
That was their thing.
100.
Yeah,
they
they
don't
got a
have
couple
100.
here and there
Yep,
coming and
they don't
going,
have
but
100 guys there. They keep their core together. They stay. Javier Mendez is kept his gym up there like that with his top talent.
It's hard to
Nacemento's
have
not
more than
terrible.
one elite guy at any weight class. It's kind of weird to have something otherwise. AK does that well. They're probably the best at it. Keep the top. Like Alpha Male did that for a while, but they expanded a little too much too, and it became
That's
like
the same thing.
Yeah, Uriah bought every fucking house on the block.
Yeah,
Faber. Faber.
That's what Jackson's is doing. They got like these apartments and all that shit, and they move all these dudes in, and they're literally training any fucking body off the street that can pay for a room and shit.
It's too much.
Yep, it's way too much. They went for the money route. They're
Yeah,
a money
it's a
gym.
business.
Yep.
It's a money making business instead of creating better fighters.
I mean,
Look how the
can you blame
look
these
how
guys though?
Nah, I
No,
mean you
no,
want
no.
to get your money out of it, but then don't be surprised when your fighters are not very good
Yeah.
outside of the good one. You know,
They wash
The
out
real
and
They
deal.
people
don't care.
leave.
I mean, at some point you got to move on. I mean, they got to think of their. Everyone's got to try to find work after fighting. I mean, it's not many guys are going to be able to retire.
Yep.
Move off the fat of the land.
But
Anyway, another submission.
do you guys think this Nascimento guy is legit at all? Like,
Not
I
really
still don't.
Heavyweights.
I don't
Eh.
feel like I know anything about him still.
That's
No.
fair. I mean, beating
But-
Dontel Mays tells you nothing.
But he did what he was supposed to do there and didn't
Yeah,
look
that's
terrible doing it.
I mean,
Yeah.
he looked okay. He got the finishing shit, but leading up to that, I mean, he
I
looked
mean, he's a
okay.
jiu-jitsu guy. He's not going to look good standing, and he looked okay.
It's
I made a
heavyweight.
margarita while y'all talk about fights I didn't even care about live, and you're still
That's
you're
fine.
still doing it.
I'll
We
be
do.
interested to see what the number is on the next one.
Yeah,
Moving
fair.
on.
He seems okay. He seems decent. I did rewatch that fight. He does seem decent, but
Next fight.
Oh,
mediocre.
Lance's favorite fight of the night.
here
Courtney
comes Gary.
Casey and Mara Romero Barella. Barella won this fight for the first 3 minutes and 30 seconds and then left her arm out there and show was over. Armbar. I think she screamed pretty loud from that armbar. But.
Yeah, I think it fucked her up a little bit. I think it
Yeah.
tweaked that arm. That was nasty. That was a sweet ass armbar.
Yeah. She was
you
going.
you don't see too much of like
Not
that
anymore.
kind of skill in a lot of chick fights. You rarely see subs like that in fights too much anymore. That was a nice armbar.
Well,
Plus
women's
1050
MMA,
for the
we
sub.
get a lot more of that stuff.
Being armbarred from basically pretty good position on the mat. It's pretty weak. You don't see that a lot because most guys know how to defend that. But yeah, next fight. Whoa.
This is the first fight that I actually watched.
Whoa. Nate
This
Landwehr.
was great stuff, dog. This started a hell of a card right here, man.
This is a friend of Wes. He's
This
in
card
on
was
Nate
great.
Landwehr. He's in on Nate Landwehr and Darren Elkins.
Rain.
I'm still not sure Landwehr won the fight, but okay.
Ah, come on.
I
He
had
won
definitely
the
win that
first.
first
he
round.
definitely
Jay,
Definitely
in a
not.
night of decisions that we will talk about,
Yeah.
and I guarantee you we will talk about them. This was not one that I had any question of.
Other
No.
than
I had
you
Elkins in
shouldn't
two
give him-
bets, and
Yeah.
he clearly lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he clearly lost. I don't know how they gave Landwehr the first. That's pretty shit.
No one
judging,
knows.
Yeah,
but at least they got
exactly.
it right.
I guess
Yeah,
because
I'm going to talk about that later.
they got it right, but just another bad card too, though. Like he didn't, giving him that round was bad.
Yep.
But
The
That-
Arlovsky stuff from a couple nights ago, just it's
That-
been a lot.
Yeah, we'll talk.
that
more
started
about
a
those.
that started a hell of a card. I thought that fight card was ridiculous, man. It was really good.
It was.
Yeah, that was a fun fight. That's for sure.
Darren Elkins literally could shake his head around and sound like it's got liquid in it. It's like
Sloshing around in there.
sloshing around, dude. Like Jesus Christ, that man is one of the toughest dudes that's ever stepped into the cage, man.
That's why I bet him.
That's not necessarily a good thing for his long-term health, but god damn, he's that dude's fucking tough, man. You cannot get him out of there. Cannot.
Yeah, and MMA being super tough just means you'll be drinking through a straw extra early. That's all.
But at least he's got a sweet tattoo.
It's are good
The
for him.
best
Like
tattoo.
lots of people in MMA.
The best tattoo.
Dude, I saw the Bektic fight of his live,
Man.
and absolutely insane. Like I don't know. I didn't really care about the guy at all before that, and then I saw that, and now I'm very invested in every Darren Elkins fight, and he usually gets beat up a lot.
He has a lot of scar tissue.
In his brain.
Yeah, and I was about to say that.
Yeah. His brain's not in good shape. There's a lot of truth to that. Yeah. Next fight, Erwin Rivera was a wild man in his debut, but Chikotsky just way too good of a striker. Nushan, what
Yeah,
you think
he
of
got
that
beat
fight?
up.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what we expected. Bit surprised Chikadze couldn't put him away, but I guess I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's much of a finisher at kind of this level of guys. So he definitely has his flaws, but it was a fun fight to watch, and hopefully they give Rivera another shot at his actual weight class. He's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring
He's aggressive
Rivera
and
back.
fast. Yeah, he deserves another chance for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he took that fight
Are
on.
you guys referring to Erwin Rivera Shyster?
Oh.
April 15th is my favorite day of the year.
Oh man, I even remember that guy.
Who doesn't, man? It's great. Anyway, next fight, Kevin Holland and Anthony Hernandez.
Some of the easiest money you will ever get.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
be back for my boy Caramel Macchiato. I'll be back.
Ah, yes, that's my favorite. That's going in the book, baby.
He's good. That was easy money. Somebody liked Hernandez. Was that Lance? Someone
No,
did.
Lance liked Hernandez.
Somebody liked Hernandez. I forgot who it was.
I just thought that Kevin Holland's a fucking flake.
He is.
Does stupid shit in there,
He
but
is.
he's good enough to beat Fluffy here.
Yeah.
Around even money against this guy though was, I mean, he's such a better fighter. But yeah, you're right. Holland's a fucking flake. If that man's minded, like if he is unflaky, like he's got fucking skills, man. That dude's got some serious fucking skills. The kind of body that you want in MMA now, that length and shit.
He's talking about going down to welterweight.
What?
I think he's fought there before.
That's 15 pounds down. That's a bit
it's a
much.
lot.
So it closed dead even, huh? It closed minus 110, minus 110.
Yep.
You gotta wonder sometimes. Yeah. Next fight. This one was fun. Miguel Baeza and Matt Brown. Have to be, for the Baeza bettors out there, you had to be a little squeamish.
It was the right side, though. Come on. It was the right side. Absolutely. This was my favorite bet on the card. I was huge on Baeza. Yeah, I mean, I about shit myself. Like that was ugly. The kid's got it. I don't know. I think it seemed like nerves played a part too for him because he started so slow. It seemed like he was nervous coming into that fight, but man, it's Matt Brown. That dude's fucking 40. Absolutely washed. Fighting a 26-year-old kid that's got some fucking good striking skills, man. That line was stupid. Absolutely fucking stupid.
Yeah, he was really nonchalant in there and just kind of let Brown tee off on him for a little bit there, and that's when it rocked him. But outside of that, you could see who's the better fighter at this point in their careers.
I didn't bet the fight, but there's no way in hell I would have bet Brown. I mean,
he was minus 130 at one point against that 40-year-old Matt Brown. Crazy. That's crazy.
I thought Matt Brown had retired.
He did. He came back.
It happens.
Who did he beat?
Oh, he did actually retire?
Yeah, he did.
I thought he just talked about possibly retiring.
No, he was out for
that was his second.
He was out for 2 years. He murdered Diego Sanchez in 2017, and then he came back 2 years later and murdered Ben Saunders.
But then they gave him Ben Saunders on the comeback, and he won. So everybody's like, "Oh, Matt Brown." Yeah, Matt Brown's he can still fight a little bit. They gave him Ben Saunders, bro.
Yeah, that was.
Although he did do better than I thought. That first round, I was like, well, damn.
Yeah, I mean, he, like Sean said, he was just acting. Our boy Macchiato was just he was acting fucking all nonchalant and let Matt Brown throw some pieces in there. And
He was respecting his elders.
Yeah.
I listened to an interview with Luke Thomas. He was kind of talking about how he got that nickname, and it's the most random thing ever. Like, he didn't have a nickname on the regional scene. And
Yeah, I know. He got the nickname because we were talking about it on the show last week, and I called him Caramel Macchiato, and now it's gonna stick. He's Caramel Macchiato. That's what it is.
That's right. There it is. He's decent fighter, man. He's young. I think he's got a good body for that division. I think he can do some decent things. I mean, I guess we'll see when he's not against an applesauce brain over the hill fighter, but we'll see.
He looks confident. Let's see.
It's true though, because there's some young guys you see come up and they fight a guy like Matt Brown, who his record doesn't look great when you look at it, but that's a tough dude to fight, even if he's way past it. So
it's not going to be easy.
It's a good win.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy one.
Yeah, I'm down. But he's going to be overpriced in his next fight for sure.
Even with getting kind of pieced up a bit.
Yep.
What happened?
I mean,
You got that compound internet, Jerry.
He was a 2-1 fave at one point against Matt Brown. So.
I know. I played him at that fucking shitty.
I mean, Matt Brown is tough. Matt Brown hits hard. The veteran experience makes a big difference. I mean, that's a big win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Washed up or not.
Guys,
There's a lot of young fighters who would have lost that fight for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, just melted in that.
Especially
situation.
after they got hurt. I mean, Matt Brown still is going to come out and be aggressive and try to win fights. I mean, he's not the same guy. He's not as fast, but I mean, there's still ability there.
You're going to have to go through some stuff to beat him.
Yeah. Let's move up to the main card. This fight we look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting decision for sure. Song Yadong, undefeated, remains undefeated against Marlon Rivera. This was a tough fight to score. Obviously, I just didn't think so.
It was close.
What are your thoughts, Wes?
He didn't like it.
Look,
I have no idea what they are.
There was some way worse shit that happened on this card. Some way worse shit.
There you go.
But saying that, Vera won that fight, man. Like, come on. If we're gonna go by these rules, everybody wants to go by and say damage matters. Damage matters. He damaged the dong. Like, he beat the dong up. Beat it up.
Sometimes you just gotta beat the dong.
Yeah, exactly. What's wrong with you?
Sometimes you just got to beat it up.
Wes, there's no shame in beating the dong.
In quarantine times, you gotta
give a lot of beating on the dong.
It's a little rugged, I understand.
Look, Vera beat the shit out of you, dong. He took 2 rounds on my card, man. Look,
I mean,
Sean,
my camera is waist up right now because I'm beating the dong as we speak.
That's why you can't see his hands.
Me and Sean were watching this live on Zoom, and Sean even was saying that he thought Vera took it. I thought it was. I mean, you could have scored. I think it was the second, kind of either way.
Yeah,
but man, come on. If we're scoring damage like we're supposed to be scoring, one man inflicted way more damage than the other one, and Vera won that fight in my book. I'd bet him 10 times out of 10 tomorrow at plus 165 every single time.
Yeah, that's a good bet. I scored it for Vera, even though I bet Yadong. The second is the flip. I mean, Yadong won the first, Vera won the third. The second was the kind of the decider. I was really surprised it was unanimous. I kind of figured it'd be a split or something going on there, but it was a close round. Yadong was the more active fighter in the second round, but I think Vera hit him a bit harder. So coin flip fight. Wes made the right bet, but unfortunately that doesn't matter sometimes. And I made the wrong
What was
bet,
the MMA judges? Did anyone look? I never.
It was
looked that
split.
up.
So MMA judges, of course, our buddy Sal. Well, Sal was judging that fight. But as for the media scorecards,
That's
half
what I
of
mean.
them had it for Vera, half of them had it for Yadon.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was a close fight.
Yeah. Coin flip fight. It should have been a pick 'em.
A much less entertaining fight. And no one thought it was going to be interesting anyway. Krzysztof Jotko and Eric Anders.
Ghost decision, baby.
There may not be there's hard to remember that many fighters that were more of a disappointment in this sport than Eric Anders or in this promotion. I mean, he came in, we liked him. Then he had that fight with Machida, and he lost a pretty controversial decision, in my opinion.
That was peak. That was peak Anders. He was running a
And then
hot streak.
then it went
lost that
downhill
one.
from there. He never looked like anything after that. He got beat up badly, I think, by Thiago Santos, and then was never the same fighter.
Yep.
Yeah,
And he got fucked up by Roundtree too.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where the damage absolutely caught up. But I think we just overrated that guy from the jump, man. We thought and I mean it ain't like it wasn't what we were seeing, because what you saw, the guy, he looked like he was going to be very, very fucking good.
He's undersized though; it's a little bit of a problem.
I think he started like the damage track a little bit further than most guys, because all the hits and stuff he took playing football. So you're just like that much further along. I don't think it takes that much more to make you get shot once you go into MMA.
And then he got to MMA and took some fucking beatings, dude. Some bad beatings.
Yep.
I mean, he's only been fighting in MMA for 5 years.
Yeah,
He's
but
taking a lot of shit for 5 years.
Those 5 years, holy shit! I mean,
Yeah,
at
he
one
took
time,
like 30 years of beatings.
yeah, at one time a couple years ago, didn't he fight like 5 times in a year or something? Like he was taking bad beatings and then fighting like 8 weeks later and shit like that, like just doing dumb shit and coming right back, taking no time off.
Yeah, he had 5 fights in from December 9th to 2017 to December 8th, 2018. He had 5 fights. Which and the thing is, like, he's obviously this really good football player, but he had his first fight at 28 years old. Like, what was he doing after football those kind of 5 years or so? That
I don't know.
Maybe we're overrating. Maybe we're overrating football players as
maybe we're overrating
Are we?
football as a sport.
For transition to MMA.
Boom.
But that was another no-brainer on the betting side, though, too.
Yes, I agree.
Ghost
Jocko's
decision.
way more talented.
Just because,
I
mean, you got an even line, and come on.
Yeah, I picked Jotko, but I think
Jocko's
Ghost
just
decision
way
was the
more
easiest
skilled.
bet on that
Jocko's
one.
just a more skilled fighter. Way better technical ability.
Slightly.
Pretty much in every capacity, other than
But he'll actually do smart things when he's fighting sometimes.
Yeah, he's a smart fighter, and he really only gets fucked up by like elite guys, and I don't think Anders is anywhere near that.
No, not even close. But a couple more
We
fights.
don't need to worry about either of those guys moving forward.
3 more fights. Another decision that I think is questionable. Dan Ige.
Questionable. You're generous, Jay.
Dan
You're
Ige
generous.
and Ed Barbosa. Barbosa looked
Bullshit.
pretty darn good for 2 rounds. Yeah.
I'm getting PTSD just thinking about it.
Look, this is one of the worst decisions that I've seen in a long, long time, and we've seen a lot of bad decisions. This was horrible. Like, look, there's not often that like all of Twitter and MMA decisions and literally the entire fucking community is agreeing on something. They all agreed on this one. Like this was a bad decision. Barbosa fucked him up for those couple rounds, man. Landed the way bigger shit. Had that kid hurt so many times. Brad's gonna go into some shit about the second and third round that is all you really have to say about how bad of a decision this is. But it's really bad. Like the second. He won if you didn't score that second for Barbosa after he hurt him to the body and he fucking was on the mat and Barbosa's on top of him to finish the round, I don't know what you're looking at. I seriously don't know what you're looking at. Barbosa won that fight. Go fuck yourself, Saul. I hope you get corona and your asshole falls out. Fuck you, dude.
He's not.
Wes ain't even laughing. He's just like, no, I'm for real.
I mean,
that's
Barbosa-
a big swing right there.
Barbosa came off the scale. Looked pretty good. We were fairly
He looked
confident.
great. He looked
I
great.
told you I didn't even care about what
I didn't
he
either.
looked like
I bet
on
him
the
before
scare.
that.
Yep.
I bet him before the fucking weigh-ins. After the weigh-ins, I was like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna kill this kid."
Yep. And he didn't kill him. To EJ's credit, he didn't kill him. EJ put up a good fight.
Wes, you're
Like,
getting some dissension from one of our listeners, and I'm seeing
I get-
FG for all is definitely disagreeing with you.
See, and
How
this
do
is
you
where I get into my argument. This is
Let's
where I
go,
get into my argument
Let's go,
because
Brad.
EJ was winning round 2.
EJ.
He won like the first 2.5, 3 minutes of round 2. And then after that, Barbosa starts to land back, and then he hurts him to the body, and then he dominates the last 90 seconds of the round. So if you want to score it to a guy who's winning by a little bit, or a guy who hurts a dude and dominates the last bit of
Well,
the
you have
round,
to. They even say they
then-
list. That's the order of scoring.
Exactly. So round 2, I think you have to score to Barbosa. And even if for some reason, because I've seen people start to make this argument, and I've tried to engage them, be like, please try to convince me how EJ won this fight. I just saw his name, and then it died.
Great.
Hey,
So if you score that
What's up?
round to EJ still, then you go into the third round.
As I
And
am right now.
Why is he
Barbosa
staring at us?
Barbosa beats him up for the first 3 minutes of that round, including hurting him again. And then EJ gets a takedown, so he does less to come back in the fight, and he just lays on him. I think he lands one good punch. I'll give him credit for like 1 or 2 good punches on top at the end of the round, and you want to score it for him. I just don't understand how you can use consistent criteria and score that fight for Danny J. You cannot do it.
Dougie, if you were here in person, I'd give you a hug. You know why? Because bros don't shake hands. Bros hug.
do they? I had to move closer to my Wi-Fi because I couldn't fucking hear anything.
Man, they're taking that
somehow-
lockdown
You
serious in
You
California.
look about as high as I do.
Somehow 2 dumbass media people scored it for Barboza. 16 others, 2 gave it to Ige. 16 others gave it to Barboza. That was a pretty easy one to judge. You got to give him the second or the third. Like, what the fuck?
If you don't give him the second, you have to give him the third.
Yeah, based
By
on how
the
you're
way that
judging
you
that second.
scored the second. Like, I don't fucking get it. You can't do it.
It's Sal Diamato. That's what you don't
And-
understand.
I lost money on the Vera decision. And honestly, by the time I watched that fight live, I was probably too lit to remember it. So then I went back and I watched it on Tuesday, and it was still like, I was like, okay, sure, like you can score the fight the other way. I don't care. I watched this fight live and I was just like, no, that makes no sense at all. And then I went back and watched it, and I watched it again, and you still can't.
Yeah,
Like
it's garbage.
it doesn't make
It's
any
like-
sense. I don't
Okay,
get
so
it.
like his comment. Barboza only landed 1 good shot in round 2. You can't score from him. That is wrong. That's wrong, dude. That
Yeah.
round was
It was how
back-
did he land
was
one
back-
good shot that he outs or it was 30-31 were the strikes in that round.
It was back and forth for most of the round. Barboza was landing the slightly harder stuff, but then at the end of a close second round, Barboza dropped him to the body, ended up on top of him,
That's right.
smashing him at the end of the second round. That's his round.
That's right.
The striking stats were the fucking same. It was a back and forth second round. He didn't land 1 punch in the round. He landed 30 punches in that round. They both did. It was a good round.
Yep.
Then Barboza hit him to the body, dropped him. Dude fucking grabbed his body, fell to his back, and got toppled. That's it. That's Barboza's round. And if you're
Fourth
saying
round, and then you drop the guy. That's clearly.
But
a
if you're
round
saying-
where you drop the guy.
if you're saying Ige scored the third, like Brad said, which was a back and forth round that Ige ended up on Barboza at the end of the third, then you have to score the second for Barboza. You can't have that criteria and score both of them for Ige. That doesn't work. That doesn't compute, dude. Like, if you
Yeah.
scored the third for Ige, you have to score the second for Barboza. It was pretty much the same exact round, except one
He
guy
didn't hurt him.
Yeah, Ige didn't even hurt Barboza in the third. That's exactly like
Barboza hurt him in the third earlier.
there's no justification whatsoever for scoring that fight for Ige. There's none. There is no justification for scoring it. Absolutely none.
So
Well, how do you feel about it, though, Wes?
It ruined a massive fucking night. They can all blow my balls.
yeah,
Not-
and there's people still trying to defend judges. Like, stop defending bad judging. You're like, well, it wasn't that bad. The good, like, he could have made an argument.
Who's
for
defending
him.
Sal?
Like,
No one's defending
no,
Sal.
there's people out
There's
there
people.
being like,
Oh, God.
no, I can see how you could score for. I actually scored it for EJ. Like, no, you fucking didn't. Nobody did. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, they can't blame it on the crowd fucking swaying them. They can't blame. They're just fucking terrible. They always have been and always will.
That whole thing. When it came back and like, oh, judges aren't going to be swayed by the crowd, and they're going to do so much better now. They've been like really bad since he came back. Like, no, they're just bad under any circumstance. They are fucking bad. They're fucking inept. Jay says it all the time. They don't make horrible money to do this shit.
No.
Like, it's not bad money to get.
They make more than a lot of people make in a week.
Yeah.
For
Stimulus
one
money.
night.
They get at least 1 month of
More
surge
than
check.
stimulus money.
So
They get more than a stimulus check every fucking card. They
And
get
so
that
all-
Canadian
all the
stimulus.
time.
MMA judge and unemployed.
Hell yeah, that sounds good to me.
Fuck yeah.
they always taught me when I was young, get multiple income streams. So there you
Yeah,
go.
Passive
You got it.
income, baby.
I mean, if you're certainly not employable if you're an MMA judge. That's
All
consistent.
right,
with that
let's
model.
move on to more judging, but I think we'll get over this one.
Yeah, nobody
Much
gives a
quicker.
fuck. This is another shitty decision that I made a terrible bet on. but
Claudia,
I got
my
away
girl-
with it.
My girl Claudia against Angela Hill. She fought a little differently, Claudia. Looks like she's been training with, is it Mark Henry? I
Yeah,
think so.
she's training with Mark Henry.
Was it that
She-
much different though?
No, she's
Yes!
shot. She's as
No.
Looks like she's been training with
It's
some
what she-
competitive eaters.
Yeah, where are them abs? I want to see that 8-pack again. It's fucking gone.
I don't know what happened.
This is why Lance isn't on the show tonight.
2
I
women.
He's
also made
always
a shitty
talking
bet
about
on
how
the
much he
first round
loves his
and got
girl
lucky.
Claudia, and then she looks like this. So he just disappears.
Yeah, that
I
was-
get it.
But she stole a decision, and well,
I didn't
It
think she stole
happened.
it though.
I'll take
What?
it.
It's
Like,
a coin flip
I-
fight.
I
don't-
think I literally
yeah, I
said,
don't-
even in the state I was in at that point, I was like, Claudia landed the harder stuff. Hill landed more. Like, whatever. I think the
Isn't
judges
that
are going to
every
go with
Angela
Hill, but they
Hill
went
fight?
with Claudia.
Yeah.
So,
That is-
whatever.
all right. Main event: Alistair Overeem against Walt Harris. Who wants to tell me what happened here?
They don't make movies
What
about
happened?
MMA because
Well, so we were watching
terrible
the
engine.
fight. It was about to come on, and Brad pointed out the ridiculous line on the Overeem TKO, plus
The
290.
ridiculous
And I was
line
like, what?
that almost lost in like the first 90 seconds of the fight.
But still,
Great
even if it
line.
was
Great
line.
line.
Great line.
plus 300, and I couldn't get it in. I'm like, just kept going.
I know.
Evaluating.
I stared at my phone.
I've heard that
I stared
about
at
you,
my phone
Jerry.
for 10
I've heard
minutes.
that about you,
I
Jerry. You
couldn't get
can't
it
get
in.
it in
It
sometimes.
doesn't matter.
That's, you
As long as I
gotta
can get
get
it
in the
on, it
closet.
doesn't matter if I
Once
get
you
it.
get in the
You'd try to
closet,
make
you can
that-
get it in. But if you're
Yeah,
not
if
in
you'd
the
have tried to
closet,
make that
it's-
bet in the closet, it went right in.
Yeah, then it's in.
Reem after round 1 was minus 150. I'll take that too.
Yeah, that's crazy, too.
That was a fucking beautiful line.
Yep.
I mean, this is kind of
I
what
mean,
we
I-
thought it was
I-
going to happen. Either
Yeah, it
Harris
was.
gets him early or he survives
sure.
and it's over.
And it just happened to go the way of him surviving and
Yep.
getting beat.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I stared at my phone before the fight at that line. Like, what? I should have bought out. You know,
You should've known
I
better,
really
'cause
should
You know
have.
how all these like good feel good stories end up in the UFC and shit like
How the
that.
fuck
You
a
know
feel
it.
good story? All I know is I watch Walt
You guys
literally
like
pick
fucking
Reem
feel
up
good
and
story.
Benji his fucking ass. shake his lunch money out for like 3 minutes, beat him around the fucking cage. I'm over like cashing my bet multiple times, like, oh my God, y'all are like a half a day behind on the fights. Like, oh my God, Reem's dead. Y'all just over like, fuck, Reem's dead. He's dead. Fucker was dead like 7 times, came back like Undertaker. Good bet. Good fucking
He's no
bet.
Rosenstruck, that's for sure.
It was a good bet.
It was a good bet for the
I-
odds.
You know what?
And it happened to win. So
I
Counterpoint.
should have bought it.
Counterpoint. Reem did absolutely everything right to survive in that fight. When he got hit, when he got hit, he covered up. He shot for a takedown at one point. He dropped for a leg lock.
Well,
Like,
he's been there enough.
He was always creating space in the entire fight. Like, people are talking about how, oh yeah, Dan Miragliotta could have stepped in here and stopped it at any point, but I really don't see one where he stops doing stuff. So I think he gives Walt more leeway than he gives Reem in this fight. For sure.
I think Walt Harris needed to throw some leg kicks.
The vaunted leg kicks.
I'm just
He needed a
saying.
striking coach, Dougie.
If he had thrown some leg kick, got a tip before the fight, throw some more
He
leg
should have just
kicks.
gone shot for shot with Reem. That would
He shouldn't have hugged Reem so hard too when he had him hurt. Like, why are you hugging him so hard?
Bro, you can't hug him that much. Bro, hug.
he needed a
Come
best
on,
striking
bro.
coach.
Friends don't shake hands.
I agree though, Brad. Like I had money on Walt, and I don't think Reem was completely out of it. And he was getting his shit pushed in, but he was doing all
pretty well. He always
did
does.
a great job.
He was doing all the things he was supposed to do to not get the fight stopped. I
There was never a point when the fight should have been stopped. There.
I think that's what makes me so mad about the fucking Anthony Smith stuff that we're hearing now, where he's like, yeah, man, I did everything the ref said I should do. It's like, no, dude, you got your
Fucking
ass
guy could
kicked
barely
from
beat
minute
up a high school
11
kid
of the
that broke
fight
into his house.
to like 24.
Fuck him.
Like,
he picked up his teeth piece off the fucking canvas and handed it to the ref. Like,
Lucky that
shit
kid
should've
wasn't a
been-
high school athlete.
You're
That
right.
shit
His
should've been
opponent
stopped
was
right there.
apologizing.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Walt Harris was laying on his stomach for like 3 to 4 minutes of that fight, basically
Yeah,
with hands like this, like arrest me, sir. And then he just, I mean, the fight should have been stopped when it's like you're basically
3 to
submitting.
4 minutes.
It was a while. It was most of the first round and part of the first round and most of the second round until the fight got stopped.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 3
it
minutes.
was like the last
It was a
half of
couple
the
minutes
first round.
right?
It was a couple minutes in round 1, a couple minutes in round 2.
That's a long
But
time.
there was about a minute and a half of round 2 where he was completely belly flat.
Yeah, he
Like,
was.
he was completely flattened out. Not getting
90
up.
seconds?
Yeah, where he was just
Yeah, he was
completely
down, he was
flat.
getting
Christ.
fucked up.
It's a
90
long
seconds
time
is a long fucking time.
with that
Just
with
get punched in the
Overeem on
head.
top of you. Yeah,
Need
And it's
that
probably a
Overeem
good
sub.
thing that like Overeem is Overeem,
I think
because I think he was pretty controlled. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna look for the sub if I can.
honestly, Brad,
like-
Overeem's probably one of the smartest guys in MMA. Probably just
Oh,
hearing
yeah.
him talk. I bet you he was like he knew there was nowhere Harris would go, and he didn't want to really hurt him.
And that's why Glover apologized.
Mm.
Hey, he felt bad too.
He was like,
Another legend.
dude, I can't
Who
do
are the-
anything more without just hurting you.
But
Who
he
are the
did hurt him.
smartest
I mean,
guys
he
in
he
MMA?
broke his orbital bone, knocked teeth out. Like,
Well,
But then
There's a joke there,
after
Dougie.
he did that, he was like on top of him and getting position and like hitting him and
yeah,
like
that's true.
trying to just get a stoppage, but it just never came from anybody.
Oh my god.
I mean, can you blame Glover though when you're the man of the garage and no one's at your level? You know, you feel sorry for everybody.
His time. His time.
It's time.
But you know what makes you
Glover's
get a
time.
stoppage is just if a guy lays into you with some, I don't know, maybe some Jose Aldo leg kicks.
So
Should
your
we take
fans
a-
have been asking for something.
Take a
haven't
trip
they?
down memory lane to August of 2015.
In
God,
Nashville.
that was that long ago?
Yep,
Yeah.
five
Right.
years ago.
Yeah, they looked it up earlier. It was a while ago. Yeah, almost 5
Do
years.
you believe we were running around fucking Nashville that long ago? It's been 5 fucking years.
Yep.
I can't believe I've
That is
known you
nuts.
people that long.
Yeah.
I think
I'm sad I wasn't there to see this shit in person.
Once either Denver or Vegas or something opens up, we've got to make sure we do a 5-year reunion.
There we go.
Yeah. We all who all was there? Obviously all of us except for Sean.
I think so.
Lance, Corey, Barry.
What? Who's a Corey?
Corey is
Rory?
Lance's brother.
You're talking about Rory?
No. You're talking about Rory?
Rory.
You guys, we were hanging out with Rory McDonald back in 2015. I'm telling you.
Tweaker Rory.
Jesus.
Pencil
a
leg.
slightly higher, more dangerous looking Rory.
Didn't we almost get kicked out of a bar during World Arm Wrestling League because we started pouring beers on each other or something like that?
Yeah.
That was after the event. That was after the event. Yeah.
But the first day we met at the pool hall. It was all wood. It looked like a 70s.
Well, we met at Lance's house.
Buffalo
right,
Billiards.
but I mean,
and fucking Wes walked in, and none of us knew who he fucking was, and we're just all kind of
Wes pulled up. Wes pulled up in the
homie.
big ass giant truck.
Yeah.
And
I was just like, oh, okay, here's Lance's homie just showed up, and then he spoke.
This was a mega truck in 2015.
What was the name of the
there was a big get together, right? Everybody just kind of
it was like the first.
There was a party in Nashville, and we all had like a bunch of time, and just showed up, and we were talking about it on Twitter, and like saying how excited we were for it, and then we show up, and
then some people invited themselves, right?
Dougie, and Jeremy kind of had our plan together.
Yeah, you guys were staying in downtown, and then some of us were staying. With
I was
Barry.
staying with
Barry.
I stayed with Barry.
Yeah,
or
Brad and I did. Yeah.
Yes, and then Best Fight Crasher decided.
Best bro hugs, man. Best bro hugs. All right,
bro hugs.
And we went to the.
To be fair, nobody really knew, right?
No,
at that point.
No.
So it was
at
just
that
like
point, he had been training jiu-jitsu.
Like, all right.
He'd been training jiu-jitsu since 16, right?
I think we literally bumped into him somewhere. I don't know.
No.
We were talking about it on Twitter.
We were talking about it on
Twitter.
He was
we talked about it on Twitter, and he decided
or
he was
something,
coming.
being like, "Hey, I fucking am here in Nashville too. Like, let's meet up."
I'm kids.
But where did Kyle Marley come into this?
If you're recent on Twitter, there didn't used to be a group chat function.
No,
you had to just talk about it. You just talked about it.
There wasn't private.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, there wasn't, huh?
No, there wasn't. So we had to talk about it publicly, and then he was like, "I'm in."
Yep.
But we didn't.
Nobody would ever respond.
But we also didn't know at the time either. Like, all we knew, like, according to him, at that point, he had been training since he was like 16 or 17. Like, he was into MMA.
He was only like 20 or something back then.
He still had hair, didn't he?
No, or 22 or something.
It was running away. It was running away from his eyebrows.
No, it did not. He did not. And he met us at the pool hall. Buffalo Bills or Buffalo Billiards or something like that.
Buffaloes, yeah.
It was wall-to-wall wood.
Fucking tight pink polo. And he walked up for the very first meeting ever. And he said, to me, at least, I think he said it to everyone, but to me, he said, he just wrapped his arms on and was like, bros don't shake hands, bros hug. And then tugged me, and I'm just standing there with my arms still up. And his arms touching, his hands grabbing each other around.
Hey, son.
And I'm just like, Jesus.
And this is on the Friday, right? This is on the Friday?
This is on the Friday. Yeah.
And then I think he systematically went to... Didn't he do that to you, too?
He did that to everyone.
He systematically went to every person doing the same thing.
He's a big hugger.
He likes
That's why he's best bro hugs.
And then some 90-year-old dude was trying to bang Marley's wife, and he didn't seem to give a shit.
Oh, yes, that's right.
You didn't even mention that, like, Team Cathless showed up. So
Yeah.
And
He
then there was a homeless, and honestly, good for
Yeah.
him, man, because his wife is way more attractive than that dude. So, like,
This was before he was the asshole tout, though.
Yeah.
This is when he was
Yeah,
still
Kyle
cool
was
again.
super chill that whole time. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I was having a good time with Kyle.
Yeah, we had a good time
Yeah.
with him. So all the way to the end.
I've done stuff with him, like I've sent him
Ooh,
money on
sounds hot,
dimes
Brad.
and stuff like that. Since
He
that
kind of
time.
became a dick after he won the very
Tout
first
master.
gamble master, tout
Yeah.
master, whatever,
Yeah.
and it got to his head. And
God damn,
Well,
we
also
did
at
that.
the pool,
We did that.
every time
Guys,
a song came
we're
on,
monsters.
every time the song came on, Best Fight Picks would come up and be like, what did he say? He said, music trivia.
music trivia.
Oh, he was fucking.
Yeah.
He was quizzing you on
Bro,
who
this
it
is like-
was.
Yeah.
It's not
But it
Thursday
would
at
be really
Applebee's,
random.
bro.
It would be like, who is this and where did they play their first concert? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know any of these questions. What are you talking about? Get the fuck away from me. Yeah. It was just really awkward. It was
next
really
show,
awkward.
We're gonna have to bring Jeremy back and talk about his times.
Oh, yeah.
gallivanting
In
around
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
That's a whole other story.
So
I can't
So,
believe
so
he did
after
that.
that, this is our first interaction.
Yeah, this is the very first
then
interaction.
This
all,
this
period.
is the place called what is it? Buffalo Billiards, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
right on the Cumberland. It's actually like a really nice place of Nashville.
Yeah, right off the main.
on the
Jay had made friends with like a fucking bridal party.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then we go to this other bar
Mhm.
called Acme, which I still
Well,
remember
also,
because it
we
was like
smoked weed with him too, right? We smoked weed with him.
I think
He
that was
like, I got some
was
weed
it
too.
on the
I'll get you
way?
later. So we'll
That I don't know.
Yeah.
in.
Might have been.
We left there and went back to smoke, and then
Yes, in the alley.
to the other bar. Yeah, and he was like, "Well, I'll smoke with y'all later." You know.
Yeah, I got some in my car. I brought some in my car. So we were like,
Back at
we'll
the
table
fucking
that.
Best Western.
table that.
Yeah, we're staying in like what is it, the Hilton or
We were
something?
in like the DoubleTree, I think.
Something
And
downtown.
he was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta go back to the Super 8."
I'm like an hour
"Fuck."
away at a Best Western
Yeah.
or something like that.
He had also asked us where our seats were, so
Oh,
he could get tickets by us.
Think of
Oh,
that.
Yeah, I do remember that. He was like, "Man, can I see your ticket?" Like,
he was taking a picture
let me take a look at that. And I didn't
Oh.
realize.
because you guys had floor seats.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
how
we were on the
fucking
floor,
made
yeah.
I have no idea. I don't think so. I think he
No, he
probably had a
asked-
plan
yeah,
before that.
yeah,
But I want to feel like he had a great plan. Like there was some James Bond villain plan all hatched behind, and he knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
So then, what was the name of the bar we went to after that?
Acme.
Acme.
It was a fantastic bar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
3
it
levels.
was right on the corner of like Broadway and the river in Nashville, and it's just
Cumberland.
it's awesome. I highly recommend that bar.
Yeah.
And Jay and I were playing shuffleboard with a bridal party, and we were all just having a good time. And fighters were there. It was after weigh-ins, right?
Yeah.
Must have been.
Definitely was because it was.
Yeah,
it was
'cause he was eating.
Kamosi was sitting there drinking water with us.
Yeah.
It had to be, yeah.
Chris Kamosi.
Yeah. And
It
we,
Oh.
6:30.
and we were all talking to him.
I remember the angle was Kamosi's wife is fucking smoking, like smoke show, and being
Absolutely great for him.
where the fuck is Kamosi's after party gonna be? Because all her friends are fucking also unreal. So we were like, hey, like, big fan, like, blah, blah, blah.
And at the time, I actually knew stuff about MMA. So I could be like, oh, yeah, you did this and this. And
Yeah,
like,
he was
I
fighting
work
Tom
with
Watson.
Nick and Greg, who, like, Oddsbreaker's
honestly,
brother Greg is his manager, and like all sorts of stuff like that. So he was actually talking to us, and we were getting in. We were going to get in with all the bridesmaids.
With him that we were hardcore MMA gamblers and shit,
Yeah.
and that
It's on
we
that.
had a bet on him to win by fucking submission, and like we were like, hey, you know, fucking it would be cool if
No.
sub.
We had a bet on him by money line, and then we asked him how he was gonna win, and he said guillotine.
Yes.
We were like, how you gonna
Absolutely.
win?
He was like, no, man, I think I'm going to sub him.
He
Oh
said
yeah, and
guillotine.
then he fucking almost guillotined him in like
He
the
did.
first fucking minute. We were like, ah!
And also by this point, best five picks on his skin tight pink polo had a big mustard stain right down the middle here.
And he walks up like bro hug behind us and hears us talking about fight shit with him, but we're like bullshitting. We're like, hey,
we were just asking him what he was gonna do, like how
like it would be cool if you got a finish because it will make us a lot of like, just saying if that's the way you're gonna go about this. And then Daniel dove
what you gotta
in
do
with
you gotta
what you
circle the
need to
line.
do to win is you need to leg
So,
kick.
bro, what
He was
you're
telling
fighting?
him how to
You're
circle
fighting
the
Tom Watson.
Yeah.
I've seen Tom Watson
Yes.
on the regional circuit. Like, I don't know if you've watched the tape on Tom Watson, but his name is Tom Kong Watson. This is his name, bro. And if you haven't watched him, I've watched him, and I know that he likes to use the leg kicks, bro.
Yeah, you
So,
need to
bro,
circle. You need to circle.
He's going to use the right leg kick. You need to circle to your right, bro, and look out for the leg kick. And then once he throws the leg kick, you can 1-2, and you can get in on him, bro, and you can just be careful of the leg kick. But if you're careful of the leg kick, I think you got this fight, bro.
He's giving a fighter
it was
the
too uncomfortable.
night before his fight
at a
it
bar.
was so fucking uncomfortable.
at a bar.
I remember walking away.
Fighter.
I had to leave.
Yeah,
That's probably as
I
good.
walked away too.
So
He's like
Brad
as good
and
as
Jeremy
he is at that
stayed.
time.
Of course, Brad didn't care.
Oh,
Well,
I
at that point, too,
couldn't
bro,
be there.
like,
Yeah, I couldn't be there either. I
peeled
walked
off.
away.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Cringe.
no, don't start saying this. Like,
dude,
we
bro,
were in, bro. Like, what are you
5'4",
doing?
Yeah,
like,
you're
we're gonna
fucking
get
it up for the rest
associated
of us.
with you now. Like, he's gonna think we're homies with. Like, fuck. Like, he's not gonna let us in now. God damn it.
And honestly,
What if he
after party.
loses?
That's
if he
the only thing I
loses?
really
Like,
cared about at that point.
Jesus
And
fucking
then,
Christ.
Yeah.
Well, at that
It was-
point, Bro Hugs was like 5'4", 270 or something with a pink polo and mustard.
Yeah,
stain
he was thick.
at a bar, and he's giving him fight advice. I'm just like, God, the optics of this.
Just
cannot be.
the typical,
Dude, so
just like the
imagine-
worst.
Imagine
But-
like a 5'6" chubby dude with that's balding in a pink polo, tight as hell, mustard stain
Like
on it.
clear Jew.
It's literally,
Clear Jew.
it's literally,
like just like
it's that.
so unathletic. So unathletic.
I mean,
I
imagine
take
going
offense
up
to that.
telling you.
I take offense.
Imagine
you
going up
should
to
win.
like an NBA player, a shooting guard, who's like, this is the way you gotta like get past your defender tonight in tonight's game. Like, come on,
Or like
Yeah.
working on your follow through. Like
Yeah,
you gotta
exactly.
make sure
Yeah,
you,
he's got
you
this
follow
tell.
through.
He's got this tell. He goes left when he wipes his
Yeah,
head.
when Luka pump fakes, you can't go for it, bro. Can't go for the first pump fake. Like, bro. What?
Okay, so then we get to the event the next day. We get to the
Wait,
event.
no, wait,
And we're-
It's not even close to over.
we go through the gate, and we're not even. We still don't know anything. We go through the gate, and then right before we're gonna get to the guy who stops you from going to the floor and checks your floor, make sure you have floor tickets. Right then is when he's like,
He pulls
I-
up to the side.
he's like, I made my own tickets with Photoshop, and I was, fuck, Jesus.
Honestly,
the whole
I was
night,
just like,
then-
dude, that's awesome, bro. You do
Then
that.
the whole night, when somebody comes, he'll just move and he'll move up a little bit. Then we look and we're looking for him, and he moves up another level. Then somebody
you
else
gotta-
comes. It's like the whole night. It's like
At
we're playing
the
like Where's Dan?
the beginning, he made his ticket seat number right in front
Beside us.
in front of us.
Oh,
And
in
he
front of
sits
us, yeah.
there, and we're waiting. We get there plenty of
So,
time. Way before
This is
first
the UFC. This is Glover and OSP is
Yes.
the main event of this
yeah,
card.
yeah.
I don't know what the number is, but it was in Nashville. It was a good time.
And Washoe, Timothy Johnson was on that fight too.
Tony
Yeah, so-
Christodoulou was on the
Which
card.
we also had.
kidding.
I convinced all of you guys to bet Rochelle by sub at like plus 950 in that fight against Tim
that was
Johnson.
that- And he almost got it.
Yeah,
We
We're all
almost
losing
willed
our
that.
fucking mind.
We almost willed that shit into. Oh, fuck.
Oh
That's
man,
back-
I
that's
haven't
back
watched
when we
that
had the-
fight
we
in
had the-
years, but I'm gonna go back and watch that
Was
fight
that the
again
fight
tonight.
card where I yelled something really loud
We had
about
the
Magny, and then
the Maggie Madoff
or whatever.
Maggie Madoff? And
We
then
got the
all-
chant on the
yeah.
TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we
So-
listened to it the next day over at Barry's, and we caught that shit on the broadcast. Yeah,
He's sitting in the row in front of us, and then the people who actually have the seats come.
They
and
show
they're like,
up
"Oh,
and
you're in our
so-
seat." And so then he just like moves over a little bit. And then he's looking at his tickets like, oh, okay. Yeah, and he moves
and then
over.
he moves back.
Then someone comes in, he moves
Right.
behind us. Then he moves like 2 rows in front, then like 2 rows behind, and because people are starting to he starts moving around. And then he moves to the section right above, right off the floor, but where he can still see us. And remember, Dougie, like every time I looked over at him, no matter what, I would just be like, Dougie, just randomly look at him.
Oh shit!
And every time we randomly looked at him, he's sitting there bobbing his head. He's sitting there staring at us going, and I'm like, is he just looking at us the whole time? Like, is he not even
He's not watching the fights, he's watching you guys.
Yeah, so then we're like, well, those must have been his real seats, right? And then someone shows up to those seats. Oh my God.
Oh, dude,
And
the
then
whole
he
week, the whole weekend is
And he moved
unforgettable.
the section above those seats. And I was 2 sections off the floor. And he's still doing the head bob every time I look over. He's like,
And now he's like in front of us. He's
yes,
not
in
behind
front
us
of us.
anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then someone comes to those seats. And then
Holy
he's like in the nosebleed on the far left. Remember? Then he's
Yeah.
like way,
He had
way up there. Like,
$20 seats.
yes. Which must
He
have
had
been his,
$20.
yeah, which must have been his real seats finally. Like I don't think we could
shit.
barely see him at that point.
No.
Yeah.
Did you guys see him
Well,
that
and
night?
then he met up with us after the fight,
Yeah.
and we went out to the bar. And this
Bar
is
restaurant.
No,
That's
not,
where we
no,
dumped-
that couldn't have been the same
That's
night.
where we
but-
dumped the ice water on your head.
Fight
right,
ended
for the-
very late.
yeah, I know. This was at the end because we went to the bar where we watched the arm wrestling.
Yeah. No. Oh, you mean we
yeah.
went to that bar?
That was
Same
after
bar?
the fights.
No, that was the
was
next
shit.
day.
It couldn't have
That
been
was
the same
Sunday.
day.
I must-
It had to be a different day.
That was Sunday.
That was the day
yeah,
we
when
left.
we went to.
Oh,
Sunday.
Had to be
No,
because
so
the
that
fight-
night-
the one
Yeah,
night-
we- weekend was
After
a
the fight,
disaster.
you
Bars
remember
were
that
closed.
bum almost spun into the fucking car? There was a bum that started doing circles.
a bum.
A bum or a fucking
Nashville's
homeless
a weird
person.
place,
Homeless
man.
dude.
And he just
Nashville's a
started
very
spinning,
weird place.
and he spun out into the street, and a car almost fucking hit him, and we were all like, yeah, like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? And he just kept spinning away. But
We went back to
that was
the
like
hotel.
right in front of our hotel.
We went back to the hotel and we smoked more with him. Remember, Wes? We smoked more with him, and then me and you,
Yep.
Dougie, started rolling, and we were
Yeah.
going over this Kimura
Yep.
setup. The whole
After our
time we
get
were
up.
giving.
Yeah, I was.
So when did
3
he come
months
back
into
though
training?
with the swag? When
No,
did he
this
come
was
back with
this
the
was a little
swag?
bit after that, right?
This is-
So
Yeah, he left and then came back.
then he was
after
like,
that
"Oh,
one.
I'm gonna go." So he's giving us advice again on the Kimura. He wouldn't jump in or do anything. He's giving us advice on
Right.
the Kimura setup
That's correct.
the whole time. Yes, and Jay's talking too. We're stoned and drunk as fuck. And then he was like, "Oh, I'll go get." And then no, you said something. You were like, "Hey, man, what about that weed
Where
you
the
said you were
fuck's
gonna-"
your weed? Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. And then he was like,
Every
"Oh,
time
yeah,
you
yeah,
fucking, like,
Which, if you've ever met Dougie in person, is Dougie.
I think I kept trying to push Daniel to actually grapple, but
Grapple with him.
he wouldn't.
Yeah,
He wouldn't
He kept
take it.
saying, "Jump in."
Yeah, he
And,
was. I was
yeah,
trying to
but he
egg him
wouldn't
into
do it. He wouldn't
He
do it.
wouldn't do it. No.
And so then he leaves to go get his stash and comes back with this bag, like a bird's nest inside of it or something. It's just like,
oh, Wes was
like-
so mad. Wes
It's just
was
like,
Hell yeah,
so
'cause I had some,
mad.
I had some fucking
This
bomb
motherfucker-
dignity.
oh
This
yeah, your shit was
motherfucker-
good.
I was smoking.
Doja.
I was smoking 25% shit with this motherfucker. You know.
This motherfucker got bammer ass shit. He's bringing Bama shit into here. What the fuck is this
Dude, Mexicans wouldn't have smoked that
oh,
shit.
Yeah.
No.
Like
Like,
Mexicans would have been
still
like, dog,
make
nah.
big weed?
It was
What
like
the
a
Yeah,
fuck?
no
flashback.
doubt.
Like,
No
what?
doubt.
Where?
They still sell brick shit down in Atlanta, dog. God damn, son.
Like,
It was like a flashback to '92 when I didn't know anyone and gave someone $20 and they gave me seeds and stems.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was seeds and stems with like a
Sensibilia
piece
and
of
shit,
of swag like this big.
Popping
Oh my
and
God.
shit. Like,
Yeah, the seeds are popping.
yeah.
But you still smoked it, Wes.
Of
You're like,
course.
fuck this motherfucker. I'm still smoking his shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hell
goddamn it.
dude.
Give me that.
That's not
As much as I could.
But
I
after
couldn't
West
finish
smoked it, he didn't give you advice on how to get up from half guard. So there's a difference.
That's true. Oh my God. And then yeah, then
I
that
would
was
give
it.
anything. I would give anything to be able to fucking roll with him again.
That's just
I would pay-
abuse.
I would pay a stupid sum of money to be able
I
to do
rolled
it.
with him though. I
I
made the
know,
mistake,
but
remember,
I
of
was
saying
only
that I was
3
going
months
to Atlanta
into it.
for work.
We need to
And
say
they just
this needs to be another
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
We can't. We got too
We gotta
much
get
tonight
Jeremy on
already.
another time to talk about that shit.
That's a good
another
story too,
beauty
though.
story.
Oh.
Oh man.
I mean,
But
but the
man-
Nashville shit, like we haven't brought up the midget.
Oh yeah, the
Brad,
midget.
the midget.
behind us
Dude.
at the event. There was
What
there was
about
a group of
hey,
three
Hey,
dudes.
what
Sean,
about-
you're gonna have
okay.
to post that picture
Yeah,
on
oh, yeah.
we got
the
to
Twitter
post it live.
account because
what about
that's my
Big-
son.
Big Marley?
That's my son.
Taking a spill. Like
Oh, Big
took-
Marley's girl.
Oh God,
Oh,
he
dude, she
ate
ate
shit
it.
so bad, like
Bad,
panties
bad.
everywhere, just like Jesus Christ. Do you remember that motherfucker? And then
Yeah.
the whole fucking
She was
LSU
way
1996 defensive line started being like, "Hey," and then Kyle started talking shit. We had to be like, "Don't do that. Like, don't talk shit to those guys." That's the 1996 LSU defensive line or Tennessee defensive line, bro. Those are all fucking OSP's homies that fucking went to college. Like, that's the fucking linebacking core. Don't talk shit to them.
They'll rip
Like,
those
just
chicken
take
We're
legs
gonna
off
die.
in one fucking pull.
I do not
So-
want to die because I'm fucking sitting next to you.
But let's tell the midget, the midget story. So right behind Brad and Dougie, there was these three dudes, and one of them was a little person,
One
he
of
just
them was
kept-
a third the size.
and he was pounding.
So he was like,
dude.
he was a third of your size, and you're small, but he was half of my size.
Yes, that's about right. Didn't they ask you to take him to the bathroom, Dougie?
I had to do it at one point.
People,
No,
other
you,
people
Brad. They
remember
asked
that.
Brad.
I
Yes,
had
yes,
to do, yeah.
He was
Like-
just that
Yeah.
waste. What?
So at the beginning of the
Oh.
night, the midget is
And
just
me too.
He
between them.
was going
We have a
hard
picture.
in the prelims,
Oh, in the
like
prelim.
hard as
Like
fuck.
pounding.
And by the first fight
The
of the
start
main
of the
card,
main
he was
card, He was
asleep.
done. I thought he was gonna
Asleep
puke all over
on our
y'all.
shoulder. Me
Yeah,
and
so-
Brad were sitting next to you, and he was in between us, head like
We'll
Yeah.
post it.
Yeah.
There was a picture
it
where
was
he's like
unreal.
early,
It's
and just like
incredible.
between them, like
Oh, yeah,
so
from
happy.
before and
I
after.
started getting irritated because I was like, "This mother, get the fuck off, get your friend off my shoulder!" Like, what the fuck?
But then once he was asleep, it was like a little armrest almost.
Yeah,
So it wasn't that bad.
Jesus Christ.
control your fucking midget friend before I get fucking mad. Like,
Brad had to take him to the
I
fucking
can't-
bathroom.
before I said my midget friend at him. Like, goddamn.
Control your Tyrion, you little fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh, Nashville
For the
turns
shot
out
call.
What
the
an
best.
event, man! What an event!
Oh, so good.
Yep.
So good.
And I feel like that's now we have sort of the continuity we do have on the podcast. We've seen a lot of shit.
And then the
you
next
gotta-
day,
you gotta
Brad.
experience those things together, you know.
The next day, Brad, is when we were sitting at the bar betting each other on arm wrestling.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
Wall for
so-
life, baby.
guys,
fucking real
we are
sport.
absolute
It's a
degenerates.
Yeah.
Real
Absolute
sport.
degenerates.
Yeah, it was the only sport on was like competitive arm wrestling, and we were betting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a
The
fucking
only
Sunday.
sport that matters.
It wasn't live. Like
No.
I don't think we were actually
Didn't-
betting each other, but we might have
Wasn't
been.
there that woman that was hyperventilating doing the arm wrestling? Like she was like a Brazilian chick or something, and
It was probably a
fuck.
strategy.
oh yeah, it's like a breathing technique or something, but it's like she's having an exorcism also.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
Okay,
Well, we
so our next event recap is my Atlanta story.
Yeah. Next week we might be only having 4 cards to break down, so maybe we'll
Let's
we'll
talk
get
about
Jerry
Tyron. Let's do
Yeah.
it real quick before we go.
Tyrion or Tyron?
Wait, what?
Why are we talking about Tyron?
Isn't he the next card?
Yeah, but that's a week and a half away, Brad.
Hey,
Yeah,
you know
it's
what's
gonna happen,
be
man. I
fucking
believe
funny,
Dana.
though?
I
Hey,
believe
you know what's
Dana.
gonna be funny is if poor Gilbert's ass gets knocked out by Tyron. How many of those African
Tyrone.
fucking pallbearers are gonna fucking get mean to his ass? Oh my god! Oh my
Yep.
god!
Yep.
Oh fuck! Because
I
he's been
don't-
all about those homies, but if he gets slept, bro, like
Could be a Twitter night. Could be one
I
of
don't
those
think we
Twitter
can
nights.
end on a better note than that.
Yeah. So
So wait, can we
What's up?
do the James Vick profile?
Not
Or-
tonight. Not tonight.
No,
Not
I
tonight.
know not tonight. We need the
Oh,
fights.
we will.
You need to
Sean's gotta put it
nonchalantly
all
let
together.
everybody know that we're gonna do a profile on James Vick.
yeah, we're gonna do a
We
deep
got to have
dive.
you on at the start of one of those shows instead of the end of
Oh
one of
yeah,
those shows.
yeah. I was just
But
being
we will.
lazy.
Yeah,
It'll
we'll-
happen.
We'll
Jeremy
be
was
doing
trying to
that.
get me on, and I was being disagreeable.
Oh,
Of course you were.
Yeah, I was like,
just
no, I'm
kept
being lazy. I'm
Take some
watching
pictures
TV.
of my
Fuck
asshole,
this
and
shit.
finally he jumped in.
And I jumped in.
Oh, good
Right,
shit. Well,
so,
yeah, thanks for helping out with the story. Gotta
Yeah.
love the different
God.
point of
Well, your
views
fans were
of the shit
demanding
show.
it.
We'll
So now
live
they
in
know.
So-
infamy.
Here's one funny thing from like that's a result of all of that is a few years ago when I was tormenting him about his tout business and he lost his mind on his birthday because he got all hammered and tried to fucking prank call me and talk shit. He forgot that he gave me his fucking phone number
Way back when in
4
Nashville.
years 4 years ago
You
at that
knew it
point.
was.
So it was like I knew it fucking was.
hi
So
Daniel.
I started calling him back immediately.
Can't be pranking
being
people.
like, you
not
stupid
fucking...
motherfucker. No, he prank called me from a blocked number.
Okay.
But it's like, dude, I've heard your voice 700 fucking times. It's like very clear who, fuck you, motherfucker. It's like, oh, this is Daniel Levi. Like, why are you calling me at fucking 9:30 at night? My time, it's 12:30. Oh, you're a little liquored on your birthday, aren't you? Fuck you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Hang up. I'm like, wait a second, I have this motherfucker's phone number still. So I start calling him at 12 o'clock my time because he's in Atlanta and it's now 3 for him. So I just started tormenting him for like a week until he had to block my number. But it was like, you dumb motherfucker,
know
you
about any of
gave
this.
me your, like, we have text messages back and forth. Like, you are that stupid.
He
You
forgot.
are that, oh, god damn.
Jesus.
Amazing
That's
stuff.
incredible.
That night also spawned like maybe close to triple digit number of Best Fight Picks spinoffs. Best Bro Hugs, best
Bro hug,
I mean,
Shrek, the Shrek
yes.
picture.
Oh,
That's Shrek
remember
pick.
that shit?
Best Fight Shrek.
Yeah, so many.
Oh, good old Nashville.
Danny Denham.
Danny
Are we
Denham.
horrible?
Oh.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are we bad? Are we
Yeah.
bad? Like,
Oh, we're
Oh,
terrible.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
we
we're
terrible.
like
know it.
terrible, right?
We're
so
terrible in a
fucking
very
Yeah.
humorous way.
What, I don't even care.
Yeah.
That's the spirit, Dougie. That's
Like,
what
Dougie-
we're like.
fuck, we
Dougie's
can argue
like-
about it all day.
Dougie's like that, bro. Bro Hugs 2020. Dougie's behind him. COVID, motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Oh, what a fight
The
recap
best.
this was.
It's
Yeah.
the best.
So yeah, next
What a
week.
great
So
time.
Yeah.
what
If
we're
we end up
saying
only doing-
is
If we only
when
end up
we can do
doing
a fight
4.
week again,
Yeah.
we're gonna all get together and it is gonna be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I know. Where should we? It's got to be like Denver or
Yeah.
Austin,
Vegas,
because
something
that's
like
the
that.
most central.
Nashville.
Yeah, Vegas. Vegas is fucking. a 45-minute plane ride for me. So
Yep.
It's got to be Vegas or Denver. I mean, there's like
Denver's pretty
fuck
dope.
everything else.
Dude, if they
Yeah.
did one in Kentucky, we could all go see the Ark, though.
No,
What's the arc?
What?
Wait,
Yeah, what the hell is
Wes,
the
I
arc?
heard
I
about
can we go-
They
University of
built
Kentucky
Noah's Ark out there,
cheerleading.
bro.
What happened with the cheerleading, Wes? Chess, I need
What a
We need to
Noah's
break
a
down.
cheer. I
scandal.
need to know. Give me a statement, official statement.
statement. They're 20-year-old good-looking people that all like to get fucked up and bang each other, and everybody should leave. All the adults should leave them alone.
I'm not sure I understand the problem.
What?
They're
What?
fucking
What?
college kids. They fired the cheerleading and coaching staff, which are
Oh, because
cheerleading.
they were having
areas,
like orgies or something?
Nah, well, they were like
Pretty
they were
much.
just getting fucked. They were getting fucked up and banging each other and shit. They're college kids. They all fucking look at their cheerleaders and
cares?
athletes and shit. Exactly. Yeah.
Just bring in best bro hugs. That'll put a stop to that real quick.
OnlyFans.
That will turn them all lesbian.
All gay.
They will all be lesbians immediately.
I could have an OnlyFans for 6 months and buy a house, bro.
The past is
I'm
likely
all-
to repeat when it comes to turning women to women, right? Take us out, Jay.
That's it. I think we gave you more than enough time for that. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
We'll chat next
I
week.
can't even hear this.
Brad can't even